Um, Sorry, a great opening. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to April's on a Budget. I'm April, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. The reason I said ow is because I currently have my printer sitting underneath my desk on its own little table, and I forgot it was there. And I rolled my chair in and my knees banged the table. Anyway, so what am I doing here today? So as it turns out, one of my favorite channels in the budgeting community has, she's doing Vlogmas. She is, as far as I know, the only channel who's doing a Vlogmas in the budgeting community this year that I've seen. And kudos, Bella. So anyway, she's doing this Vlogmas, and one of her Vlogmas days is she did a questionnaire that she made up. And she chose 20 questions and tagged me in it. And so I'm doing her a solid by doing this video because, you know, everyone knows how much I hate talking. And so that's why I'm doing this video. Now, for just to be completely brutally honest, this is my third time doing this video because my first two times I droned on and on and on forever. And so now I'm making a third attempt trying to get directly to the answers without getting off topic. Now, there are times I'm going to because I feel like they need a better explanation. But I will try my best to stay on task. Anyway, so if you haven't checked out, and I have to say this at the beginning of my video, and I will reiterate it again at the end of my video, if you have not checked out Saving Made Simple, please go check out her channel. She is very big in the cash stuffing community in Canada. We have a very small Canadian community, but she is one of the biggest cash stuffers in our community. And I thought for sure she would be at 1,000 subscribers like a year ago. I can't believe she's still not there. So if you're subscribed to my channel, please go check out Saving Made Simple. She's doing Vlogmas this year. How anybody can come up with 24 topics during Vlogmas at Christmas time about budgeting is beyond me. And the fact that she's doing it is such a huge endeavor. Working full-time, a single mother, and still managing to record a video every day and upload it and just staying on task is just incredible. So please go check her out. She is by far my favorite content creator in the budgeting community. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to get to the 20 questions because she tagged me in them. So how long have you been budgeting? I think it's been about 3 years now. I feel like it's been 2, but yet something's telling me it's 3. I was cash stuffing for about 3 months, maybe 4 months prior to cash stuffing on YouTube. So I had pretty much established what I was going to do or my format before I ever came on YouTube. So yeah, around 3 years I've been cash stuffing now. Do you remember seeing your parents budget their money as you grew up? And do you think, this is an A-B question, and do you think that the way your parents handled money has had an influence on how you currently handle money? My parents did not cash stuff growing up, and yes, that has definitely influenced how I handle my money now. You know, it's, yeah, they didn't budget. They weren't the best with money as far as investments and things like that. And, yeah, so, by influence, I guess, yeah, trying not to do it that way. So yeah, I guess, yes, they did handle how I handle money today. What made you decide to start budgeting, or being more conscious about your spending habits? This is the question that I keep falling off the rails on because, basically what got me started cash stuffing was jealousy. I would have to say would be the shortest answer. Jealousy. My friends, most of my friends work where I work. Most of the couple friends that Tyson and I have are, you know, jet setting off to here and jet setting off to there, and, you know, buying this, like buying $500 handbags and, you know, buying new cars every year. And, you know, they're doing these, and we just could never do that. It was like we were in this circle of, you know, make money, pay debt, make money, pay debt, make money, pay debt, increase our debt, make money, pay debt. Like we just weren't getting anywhere. And I just felt like as I get older, those things that you want to do, those dreams that you want to achieve in life are getting harder and harder. Not harder to achieve, but I've had to shorten my list significantly because I have to realize that, I'm currently at an age where I can't just, I don't have unlimited years to do the things that I want to do. So we need to buckle down and get them done. And I started, so the treading water thing became very apparent to me. And I felt like we were getting nowhere and we were never being able to do the things that we wanted or I wanted to do. And so that's what got me started on cash stuffing and baddies and budgets. I stumbled on her channel one day and she started off very small. I mean, very, very small. And I see where she is today. At that time, I was like, if this is what she's achieved in a year, what can I achieve in a year? And so that's how it started. I just started socking away money in envelopes. And after just a few short months, we had like $900 and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, oh my God, all of a sudden those far off dreams that were goals that I would never ever achieve were suddenly very achievable. And so that's what got me started, was just being tired of not having the things that my friends have. Now, that being said, because I don't want to steer people in the wrong direction, you don't have to have things in life to make you happy. And budgeting has definitely taught me that, because when I could finally afford to go spend $500 on a handbag, I would not dream of spending $500 on a handbag. The idea of stuffing an envelope for 6 months and working so hard to have that money makes you much more aware of where you're spending that money. And do you want to go and make a frivolous purchase and just have that money gone? So I do find it a lot harder now to spend money guilt-free. So I don't make really frivolous purchases. Well, besides Disney, but yeah. So anyway, let me show you real quick though, now that I've said that. I did make a frivolous purchase while I was in Orlando, but it wasn't a $500 handbag. It was a $90 handbag. So I'm gonna stand up, make sure that this is in frame. So I bought this bag because I wanted a Loungefly bag while I was in Disney. It's like a backpack type deal. It's got little Mickey ears. I love this bag. And I was going to, because of the fact that it cost me $89 American to purchase that bag, I was just going to put it away as soon as I got back from Orlando and never use it again unless I go back to Orlando. But I get a lot of compliments on that bag. So I'm going to continue using it. But that would be the closest, that would be the most I will ever spend on a bag. Anyway, so that's what made me start cash stuffing, was just not having the things that my friends had who make as much money as we do. And we needed to do better. So that answered that question. What were your financial goals heading into 2024? 2024, simple Disney. It was just Disney. That was our goal. We wanted to maintain our debt as far as, not increase it. We were not successful on that. We did increase our debt, to go to Disney, but I don't regret it. Not for a second. I think that we needed to have that, achievement, I would say, under our belt, to say that we've worked hard for 3 years to be able to go to Disney and not feel guilty about it. I don't regret it. I won't ever regret it. Yeah. So anyway, my goal for 2024 was to go to Disney. And the next question is, have you achieved your goals? Yes, I did, because we went to Disney. So that was my only major goal in 2024, and we definitely achieved it. So that is done now. What is your favorite budgeting game or savings challenge to play? So I have a couple. The first one is definitely Saveopoly. I love Saveopoly. It's probably my favorite. I would say Plinko, but I've only just started playing Plinko. But so far, I really enjoy Plinko. Of course, the box. I love Shut the Box. And then hands down, my favorite is His and Hers. I'm the only one who plays it. It's rock, paper, scissors with 2 dice. It's just a little friendly competition that I have going with Tyson that I do every single week. And I love it. It's saved us so far, I think somewhere upwards of around $300 is what we have so far saved. And it's just from rolling the dice 3 times every week. It's like super easy. So I love that one because, and it's always sitting here right in front of me, and the constant, like, all this money, like, that I've just, you know, for fun, I rolled the dice 3 times a week, and look at what's here. It's like over $300. Anyway, so I like that one, but I like all coin challenges anyway. What is one purchase you have made this year that required careful budgeting to save for? Disney. And that's the simple answer, Disney. What are your top 3 favorite budget related shops this year? Okay, so first, definitely Saving Made Simple. Must be, because I own everything in her shop. Some duplicates. There's a few things that she sent me that there's a few things that I have bought, and then she sends it as like I'll look back at things I've bought from her and realize that she had already previously sent that to me as a freebie in one of my previous purchases. So I now have it more than once. But yeah, I have everything in her shop, and some things a few times. And then Cash But Cute. I love Cash But Cute. I love her shop. The only thing is I wish that she shipped to Canada, and she doesn't. I understand why, but she doesn't ship to Canada. So that's the only thing, but I do love her shop. And then most recently, this cute little shop called We Got This Studio, or I Got This Studio. I'll put it on the screen or link it down below. But anyway, she makes these beautiful dashboards, and I love them. But she also has quite a few really, really cute savings challenges. So I love her shop as well. I don't order a lot of physical product from people, but I do a few that I pretty much stick to all the time. What are your 3 favorite budgeting channels to watch this year? Okay, so I have so many more than 3. Okay, so I'm going to start with Saving Made Simple, just because, you know, clearly there are a few channels that I watch regularly, but there's a few channels that I never miss. So I shouldn't say I never miss. I will spend a day or two where I will all of a sudden sit down and make sure that I've watched every one of their videos up to date. And they are Saving Made Simple, Cash and Coffee Budgets, and Budgeting and Beyond. Those are the 2 that I follow religiously. The other ones I will, once those 3 are caught up, then I will go back and watch everybody else. But most times when I watch videos, I will binge watch a channel for 2 or 3 days solid, just to try to get caught up, but you just can't catch up. There's so many people. But Cash and Coffee Budgets, Budgeting and Beyond, and Saving Made Simple. Those are my 3 favorite channels. And if you haven't checked all of those out, please go check them out. Oh, and you know what? I'm going to add a 4th. And that's going to be Daddy Budgets. Budgeting Daddy UK. That's it. I love his channel because he is the only, there's Budgeting with Ira as well, but Daddy Budget UK, you just don't see him at all in this community. Nobody talks about him. But there's so few men in this community. And he does it differently than everybody else, which is why I love his channel. It's another reason why I love Budgeting and Beyond, because she does it completely different than anybody else. And so I love watching them as well. Okay, so I think that was like 3 or 5, maybe. I'm not sure. Okay, so lost my place here. Let me mark it. How do you hold yourself accountable for, I just wrote on myself. How do you hold yourself accountable for your budgeting and spending habits? You know, I've never really had that problem. Right from day one, as soon as I put $5 in an envelope, I never even occurred to me to take that $5 back out. Never occurred to me. I think I hold myself accountable. It's just one of those things that when I put the money in there, I don't consider it my money anymore. It's spent money, and it's just not money that I have access to as far as I'm concerned. And I don't know why. I find that very easy. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. And when we have had incidences where we've had to withdraw the money, I hold no personal apologies for that. I mean, that's what it's there for. If we need to take it out, we take it out. I think YouTube helps me stay accountable in the way that, for instance, my annuals is a perfect example of that. It's a large amount of money. It's $45 a week that I cash stuff into that envelope. And there were lots of weeks where I was like, oh, maybe I just won't stuff the 45 this week, and that will make it easier to stuff everything else. And having it on YouTube and knowing that that's an annual that everybody's expecting me to stuff every single week, it made it where I made that a priority to make sure it got stuffed. So in that way, YouTube helps me stay accountable. But for the most part, I've just never really had an issue with not spending what's in my binders. Once it's in there, it's in there, and it stays in there until I need it for what I've saved it for. What are your highest priority sinking funds? So my annuals were, I've just recently stopped doing that, and I'll touch on that a little bit later. So I would say that my highest priority sinking funds are the cats. They get stuffed. So these are the sinking funds that no matter what, if something happened tomorrow, I normally have between $260, I would say, to $300 is what I have to stuff each and every week. If suddenly something happened that was now $75 or $80, these are the envelopes that I would stuff and nothing else. But they would get stuffed no matter what. Even if it meant not doing savings games, they have to get stuffed every week. So for babies, that's my cats. We have 4 of them. Medical, but only until it reaches $50, and then it's done. Water, because we need it. So, you know, you have to have drinking water. So water is always a priority. It's empty now. Tyson just got our water yesterday. And septic, because no matter what, every 3-ish months, this gets emptied. And we have to have $120. And it really sucks when we need to have our septic emptied and we don't have $120 to pay for it. Now, we've always had it. We always can get it from somewhere. But oftentimes back in the day, it was at the expense of something else, where now we always have it. And that's it. The only other thing I prioritize is Tyson's car. Because Tyson contributes to the budget, he gives me $100 just about every single week for cash stuffing. So I make sure 20 of that goes into an additional car payment for him. We do know that my car is on its way out. My car is 13 years old, I believe. I'm doing my math correctly. What year is it? 2024. My car is 2012. Yeah, so it's about 13 years old. It's coming up on 13 years old. So, and we put a lot of mileage on our cars because we commute. So my car has over 300,000 kilometers on it. So we know it's on its way out and we can't afford a second car payment. So we have to pay off his car so that once his car is paid off, I can get a new car. And it's not costing us more money because we'll just use that car payment for my new car. So it's not going to cost anything additional for us. So that one, and that's it. That's the only things that are mandatory. Everything else, I've skipped or do skip on a regular basis if needed, but those ones are my mandatory, most important sinking funds. What advice would you give to somebody who's just starting out in learning, and how would you budget and save money? Okay, so this is the one that in both videos I went completely off the rails and talked for 20 minutes about, so I'm going to try to keep it brief, but so my advice is literally in 3 parts, I think. So the first one is exactly the same as Bella's answer, which is don't compare yourself to anybody else. Like, you need to find out what works for you and run with that. Use other channels if you need to use other channels to help you get there, to help you find out what works best for you, but don't feel like you have to do it the way that they do it. We all have different incomes. We all have different overheads. Everybody's budgets are different. So it's just not, as Bella put it, a one size fits all for everyone. So don't compare yourself to other people, because it's just not going to be the same. If I did that, I would have quit cash stuffing years ago. There are a lot of people in this community, and good for them, but there's a lot of people in this community who can afford to stuff $1,000 a week. I am not one of those people. So if I had tried to base my channel on what they're doing, I would have walked away so long ago. So you can't do that. You don't base your budget on somebody else's. Find out what works for you. Now, that leads me to part 2. In order to find out what works for you, if somebody asks me outside of YouTube in my personal life, and I have a lot of people who ask me all the time how to budget, I never, ever tell them to follow my channel, ever, because my channel didn't start where I started. I was budgeting for 3 or 4 months, maybe even, about 3 or 4 months before I ever went onto YouTube. So my budget was pretty much established as far as what I was doing with my budget. And I also don't do budget breakdowns. Budget breakdowns are very important for people who are learning how to budget. I don't do budget breakdowns because my budgeting, what goes into our binders every week. Now, this is not savings challenges or Wizarding Wednesdays. This is just cash stuffing. That money is pretty much the same every single week because my budget is the same every single week. So I don't feel the need to do a breakdown because it doesn't change. It stays exactly the same. But if yours changes, then you may want to find a channel that does a budget breakdown every single week, and they show you where they've spent their money, where all their pennies go, where it's important information when you're learning. But don't follow one person, follow lots of people, and don't pay attention to what they're doing today. Go back to the very beginning of their YouTube journey and follow them from the beginning, because we all started somewhere, and we all started small. And then you get to this many binders. But when you start, you're usually only starting with 1 or 2 binders. And then we get to this many later. So that brings me to my third thing is don't set yourself up for failure. Don't set your goals so high that they're not achievable. So if you are starting or considering starting cash stuffing or considering starting budgeting, odds are that there's something in your finances that is not working right for you and you feel the need to make a change. Don't set your goals, don't have like a brand new car as your goal that you're going to achieve this year, because you're just setting yourself up for failure. Set a small goal, set lots of small goals, 1, 2, 3, 4 small goals, all $100, $200, $300. And then when you achieve those goals, then set a new goal. So start off small. Start small and you will have success more quickly. If you start too big, you're going to get frustrated and you're going to quit. So don't set yourself up for failure. Understand where your problems in your budget are, whether that be that you're overspending on Amazon or overspending on, whatever, coffee, takeout food, whatever. Try to find places in your budget where you can free up a couple of dollars cash and use that to cash stuff. So that would be my advice anyway. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I could go on and on and on. But anyway, have you made any lifestyle changes this year in order to save money? No, I have not. But that does bring me to the point I was making last question. So I did make a huge change when it came to cash stuffing. The biggest change that I made in 2022, I guess it was, or 2021, whenever I started cash stuffing, was I gave up coffee. I used to buy a coffee on my way to work every day, and I would buy a coffee on my way home from work every day, and oftentimes a coffee while I was at work. And not only that, but especially on my way to work, I would often, when I would grab my coffee, be like, oh, I'll get a hash brown, or oh, I'll get a muffin, or oh, I'll get a wrap. So that coffee turned into a $6, $7, $8, $9 purchase at Tim Hortons on my way to work in the morning. So if you add that up, because it wasn't just work. I mean, every time I would drive into the city, or if I would go to my local town that has, like, the closest town that has a Tim Hortons or a McDonald's, and I would stop and grab a coffee every single time, no matter what. So I would say that I was spending probably over 200 and probably under 300 just at coffee shops alone every single month. When I first started cash stuffing, the first thing that I did was make a pot of coffee, and I put it in a travel mug. And then I emptied the rest of my coffee and put it in a thermos. And I made the coffee perfect to the way that I like it. And no matter where I go, at all times, I always have a thermos of coffee with me. So I don't buy coffee at takeout shops ever anymore. When I'm out with people who do, they'll be like, hey, April, can we stop by Timmy's? Yeah, no problem. When we get there, do you want coffee? No, I'm good. Thanks. I have a big thermos in the backseat of my car. I don't need a coffee. I'm good. And my coffee's better. So, yeah. So find those changes that you can make, and they free up a lot of money. But anyway, so that would be the one thing that I did change for the sole purpose of budgeting, and cash stuffing, but that was a couple of years ago. This year, nothing. No, I haven't made any changes. What is something you would like to spend less on in 2025? Amazon. So I have developed I wouldn't say a shopaholic, but I'm, with Etsy, I budget like all of my budgeting. So what I budget in my budget book every 2 weeks. And then from that, I take out of that and I put it in the binders. But my savings challenge night and Wizarding Wednesdays are solely funded by Etsy. Now, back in the day, I only had, I think, $60 for cash stuffing night or for savings challenge night. That was it. And there was no Wizarding Wednesdays. But then when my Etsy shop increased, I created Wizarding Wednesdays. And then when my Etsy shop increased even more, I had just extra money, unbudgeted, that didn't go anywhere. And I would use that money to buy stuff on Amazon. So I would go on Amazon, buy all the stuff that I need to run my Etsy shop, take out the money that I needed for my savings challenges and for Wizarding Wednesdays. And sometimes I'd have $100 or $200 left in my bank account. So I would just, go on a spending spree on Amazon. And it has created a bad habit. Now I'm really feeling that because of the postal strike, my Etsy shop is zero. I make nothing from Etsy besides like a couple of $2, $3 purchases digital every week. And that's it. So I'm really, really feeling that. So yeah, one of the things that I need to spend a lot less on, this year is Amazon. So yeah, that's it. Do I have an emergency fund? I do. Honestly, I don't have one because I want one. I have one to please other people because I don't necessarily believe in emergency funds. And please understand, this is not financial advice. Do whatever works for you, whatever's best for you. But for me, the idea of paying $1,000, if I have $1,000 on my credit card that I owe, and I'm paying interest on that money every single month, I really struggle with having $1,000 sitting in a bank account collecting dust when I could take that $1,000, pay off the credit card, and then I'm not paying interest on anything. And so for that reason, as long as I have debt, I will never have a large emergency fund. I just can't. I can't justify it to myself. I do keep a small one. So I have $40 that comes out of my paycheck. It doesn't come out of my paycheck, but it comes out of my bank every payday, and it goes into my TFSA. So that was sitting at $440. I just recently had a car issue. So I have depleted that. Now I also keep a nickel nest egg, which is my other emergency fund. It's currently sitting at, somewhere around $300. I could have cashed that in and used that to pay the balance on my car, but I decided not to. I just let my credit card eat the rest of that money. And I just, on paydays, I've just increased my debt payment just to make up for that. So I'm not paying interest on that money. So yeah. So anyway, I do want to increase my TFSA back to $500. So that is a priority of mine, and that will be my emergency fund going forward. But every single time I get $500, like TFSA is different. I will leave that money sitting there. It's not necessarily an emergency fund. It's just savings for me. We may use it for something else. I don't know, but that's what I call my emergency fund, is that money, but it's savings for whatever we need it for. I am doing a cash emergency fund as well. But as soon as it reaches $500, it's just going in my TFSA, and then it's there for an emergency or whatever else may come up. But no, traditionally the way that other people do, no, I don't have like, I have to have $1,000 or I have to have 1,500 or 2,000, or some people have it as high as like $5,000, $10,000. But no, I don't have, as long as I have debt, I won't have that much money just sitting around collecting dust. There's no way. Anyway, do you have any financial challenges, or did you have any financial challenges in 2024? How did you overcome them? We did in the beginning of the year. I can't even remember what it was, but we had 2 or 3 things that were like bang, 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 all right together. And, I panicked a little bit, but this time I thankfully did it on camera, so I didn't feel the need to disappear off YouTube again. But I basically counted up all of our binders, every single thing that we had in all of our binders. I counted that up. I used that money to pay whatever it was. I don't even remember what it was now that came up, but whatever it was, it came up and we had to pay it. And so we did. And I just emptied my binders, which is what else I consider to be an emergency fund for things just like that. And I just started over. The only things I believe I didn't empty were Disney and Christmas, but everything else we emptied. And that's how we overcame it. So yeah, that's that question. What is your favorite part of your budgeting payday routine? It's really funny because way back in the day, it used to take me a long time on budgeting day. I don't even write it out anymore. I used to, like, I have my budgeting book, and I used to, like, religiously every payday. Oh, Jesus, where are they? Oh, they're up here. Every payday I would fill it out, but the numbers never change. They stay the same so I just stopped writing it out. I know what it is that we pay. It doesn't change. And, even though both of us have had pay increases this year, we just pay more on debt. So it doesn't really affect our budget at all, because we just, that extra money just goes on debt. So yeah, counting money is my favorite thing to answer that question. On payday, I love counting money. But yeah, I think it's pretty much the same with everybody who cash stuffs. What is something that you would do differently this year if given the opportunity? So I touched on this a little bit. I rely solely on Etsy for my savings challenges and like my game night. Game night and Wizarding Wednesdays are both Etsy funded completely, 100%. Now, because of the postal strike, my Etsy income has dropped to 0. My Etsy income has always fluctuated, but I always make a minimum of $60 a week, a maximum of, I think my best week was like 400. So it's a decent income that I make from Etsy, but that is how I fund game night and Wizarding Wednesdays. So now this month, because of the postal strike, my Etsy shop is not closed, but I'm not selling anything physical on there. So that has now dropped. My income has dropped down to about $3 a week, which clearly is not going to fund the $140 that I need for my savings challenges. So going forward, I need to try to work it out where I'm working that into our budget. So the added income that we've had for the past year, instead of having that money go directly onto debt, I would like to free up that money for savings challenges. And then the money that I make from Etsy, using that to pay my debt. Not the minimum payment, but just anything over in debt. Only because my income at work is not ever going to go away. It's a reliable, no matter what, I'm getting paid. So I would like all of my cash stuffing to come from that, and my Etsy shop to fund any extras. So no longer savings challenges, but to fund extra extra debt payments. So that's the one thing that I would change is I realize how quickly that Etsy income can just disappear. And you know, this week, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do a savings challenge video because that's where that money comes from and I didn't get paid. So, yeah, so that's what I would do differently. What is one financial goal you were setting for yourself in 2025? Debt. That's all we're doing in 2025. That was a deal I made with myself and with Tyson, was that if we went to Disney, after Disney, we would focus on debt. So our biggest financial goal in 2025 is just to decrease our debt a lot. Yeah. So, and then what 3 channels would you like to see answer these questions? Well, that one I wrote down because I know who they are, but I always forget the name of their channel as soon as I turn on a camera. So I'm going to take Cash and Coffee Budgets. She's an Australian cash stuffer. I love watching her videos. So I'm going to take her. I'm going to take Frugality is Life because she comments on every single one of my videos. She likes it. She comments. She watches like religiously. So I'm going to comment her and or tag her and hopefully drum up some business in her shop or on her channel. And Deidre's Budgeting for the same exact reason, because she watches my channel religiously and comments religiously. So I'm going to tag her. So do go check all those channels out. And if I tagged you, I want to see a video. Like, yeah. Oh, and I'm going to do a 4th. Budgeting Data UK, same thing. I'm tagging him because I never see his name anywhere in the budgeting community. He has a decent following, but I never see him. I never see people talk about him. No one mentions him. Yeah. So go check those guys out. And thank you very much, Bella, for tagging me in this. Loved doing it so much so I had to do it 3 times. Anyway, if you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all on Friday or maybe Saturday for another video. Bye, everybody.